Hello and welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, with Pretty Home Realty. And today we're going to be talking about what happens on a listing appointment. Um, why is this important? Well, if you're going to sell a home or you know someone that's going to sell a home, or if you are an agent and you're like, what happens? What am I supposed to do? Right? Uh, what happens, right? It's kind of like this little mystery most of the times that we don't know until it happens, right? But we're gonna uncover the secrets, the mystery, and we'll go into that right now. And I want to, before we get started, give a big shout out to Kelly at Pretty Home Realty. She was the one who, she already knows this, by the way. She's the one who proposed that we discuss this today for a lot of agents uh, who maybe want a refresher. And I was like, wow, that is a great idea. So big shout out to Kelly for reminding me to go over this. So thank you. Now, one quick thing, just a little quick housekeeping. If you want to reach out to us at Pretty Home Realty, you can just send us a quick message. Sean Christina on Facebook and Instagram will normally get us. We do have the Pretty Home Realty Facebook page as well as our website, prettyhm.com. Now, on there, you can actually do searches for homes. You can see how much your home value is and some other really cool things. So, if you want to check out that site, also, you can see our reviews and our agents are listed there as well. So, a lot of good stuff. So, let's get right into this listing process. What happens on a listing? So, let's just say uh, uh, you're excited. Someone's like, "Hey, I want you to sell my home." You're super excited as an agent, but then what happens to us next? Ah! We start panicking, right? We go into panic mode, like, "Oh, wait a minute." And the reason why we might go into panic mode is because if you're going into panic mode, that's a good thing because we want to do things right. We want to do things right. And so what we have is we take a systematic approach. Okay, systematic approach. Some things are actually even scientific, which is really cool. And so we're going to roll that out of what we do. But that's the feeling that we get sometimes, right? So let the way we actually do that. Now here's the other thing. The clients, they don't necessarily know what's going on, what's going to happen, right? So they're probably feeling a little bit nervous. And a lot of times people have discussions behind the scene. Like, you know what? You know, we're we you know, we're not signing anything. We're not signing anything. There's a lot of discussions that happen behind the scenes, or, if it sounds good, let's go for it. We don't know the conversations that are happening behind the scenes, but these are some things to think about when we're going in, because a lot of times people they have a little apprehension if they don't have enough information, right? If you don't have enough information to make a good decision, then normally we don't make a decision, right? So, one of the things that we should do is actually before we even go to the listing, wouldn't it be nice to FedEx the listing package over to the homeowner? So just, all the documents that you're going to use, just send that over to them. As far as so they can look over it, so they won't feel intimidated by all these words when you're there. Okay. And you want to send that to them and let them know to go over it and maybe jot down any questions that they have. That way you can answer them when they're there. Now, that is That's a pro tip. That's a pro move right there. Okay. Make sure you do that. If you don't want to FedEx it, just drop it off at their house. Just drop it off a couple days ahead of time, not too far in advance, maybe 2 days, and make sure that they have that paperwork in advance. Okay. So that's number one. Second thing, when you get to the listing appointment, what I like to do is be early, but don't be too early. If you get there too early, they're not really ready yet, and now they're doing the scramble, and things are going to be a little bit tense. So you don't want to be too early, but you don't want to be, you know, pulling up on two wheels or worse, late. So just arrive, 5, 10 minutes early, and just park down the street, not in front of the house, because if they're gonna see you, they're looking for you, and they're gonna tell you to come in. I have had it so many times where I've pulled up and they call me, is that you? Yeah, that's me. Okay, come on in. Well, maybe you want to go over a few things in your head or whatever. So, uh, no, park down the street if you can, and then pull up. And I'm talking about right there. I mean, if your appointment is at 12, at 12 noon, you want to be hitting that doorbell. Okay. So that's really, I mean, that's very small, but if you can do it, I mean, don't expect perfection out of yourself, but if you can do that, that's going to help. One other thing about mindset going in, put your favorite song on in the car. You need to be energized and feel really good um, going in. Okay, so put on your song, your jam, and feel really good going in there. Don't be making a bunch of phone calls and scramble. Like, you want a clear mind. You want all your focus to be on your clients, nothing else. Everything else is blocked out, right? Because you've prepared. Okay, that's another thing. Preparation. All the documents you send them, you need to be familiar with. So go over them and make sure that you're prepared. Even if another home that came on the market in their area that day, if possible, you want to be prepared, as best as possible. Okay, so that preparation. Now, don't overdo this, right? All you can do is all you can do. So do all you can do and then stop. Okay, you're not perfect. Don't be a perfectionist. Sometimes we do too much or not enough. So just on a rope, on a tightrope, a foot is always trying to keep itself balanced. Just try to be balanced with that. Don't do too much, not enough. Okay. All right. So you're prepared. You're on time. You're feeling good. You hit the doorbell. Boom! Right at 12 noon or whatever the time is, and they're going to invite you in the house, and they don't know what to do. So you, at this point, you're greeting them. If you have business, if give them a business card. They have your phone number. They already have all of that stuff. It is expected as a professional. They expect it. And the cool thing about it is you don't care if they have it. They already have your number. You want them to give it to someone else. Referrals, right? You want it to be a portable little thing that they can give to somebody else. Bring a stack of business cards with you, as a matter of fact. You can send them to them or bring them a stack of business cards, because you're going to give them some instructions with those business cards later. So we'll get to that. Okay. All right. So you come in, you ask for the tour of the house. So you're going to ask them, hey, excuse me, I'm trying to open up my phone here. All right. You're going to ask them for the grand tour. Give me the grand tour. I don't care how large, how small the place is. Ask for the tour. If it's small, you're going to have to slow them down, because they're going to just try to rush you through a smaller place. I'm talking about a smaller condo or something, but you want to take your time. So as for the tour, as you're walking through with the tour, you're looking around because you want to see yourself. What you are looking for is you're looking for the value in the property, right? What's really nice about this that, so that you can market it, right? You're looking at the types of floors. Is this hardwood floor? Is this ceramic? Is this porcelain tile? You're looking for these different things. You're looking, is this ceiling fan? Does it have central air? You're looking and thinking about these kind of things, right? And you're asking questions. Do not, if you're doing most of it, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? We should be listening at least twice as much as we talk. Okay? Ask questions. Okay. Wow. Okay. When did you have this kitchen remodel? You know, when were these countertops put in? Ask all of these questions, and you should have a notebook. You should be taking notes or recording it, something so that you can, capture this information. Okay. So make sure you're doing that as much as possible. So once you get through the tour and you've got all this information, again, because you're gonna need this information for the ad copy as well later on. So you're getting this information. What you also want to get is, why did they choose this house? Why do they love this house? What were some great memories in this house? Now that's a story, okay? You want to know these types of things. That's what you're really going for when you're getting the tour, okay? The house, the story, the value. All right, I think we covered that pretty well. You've gotten the tour. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get permission to sit down and discuss their goals. Okay? So you want to get permission to sit down and discuss their goals. What do they want to do with the home? Okay? So, when I say get permission, you're going to ask, hey, do you have, they're going to be like, okay, well, we can sit on the couch, or you want to sit at a table, because more than likely, if you have to fill out forms, it's going to be more difficult if you're sitting on the couch or TV room, distractions, things like that. So you're going to want to sit at the dining room table, something like that. Okay. So when you get there, again, they've already given you permission to discuss some things. So what do we want to discuss? Let's see. You know what? I made a few notes here. There is one other thing that you do want to do. Mindset. And I'm glad I looked at this and remembered. When you walk in mentally, as far as yourself, you want to visualize, basically assume the sale or visualize that they are going to want to work with you. However, we don't want to be egotistical and assume that that is the case. You're going to want to ask sometime during this whole process if they plan, or have they spoken with any other agents. You're going to want to ask that, and you want to ask that early on as well. And the reason why is because if there is going to be competition, you're going to want to know who they are. That way you can kind of expose your unique selling proposition versus what they do. And that way, and then, if they say, oh yeah, we're talking to 3 other agents, well, have you spoken to any of them already? Yeah, we've spoken to this person already, and we're going to talk to this person after you. And that has happened with me before. And I'll give you a quick example. one time I actually forgot to ask that until the very end. Okay. And, I was discussing the paperwork with them, and they were like, oh, well, we're not going to go with you just because you're wearing that nice, oh man, I hope you can hear me. I've been talking all this time. They said, I'm not going to go with you just because you're wearing that nice suit. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I will hope you wouldn't go with me just because of the nice suit. And so we had a good laugh, and so we talked about it, and they said that they were going to be, interviewing some other agents, and so, same thing. I was like asking who and different things like that, and I was actually able to discuss our, my unique selling proposition, USP, and what we do, and and then and basically, so our office was in Royal Oak at the time, so we had buyers in that area as well that I was working with currently, and I was able to let them know, some agents are just listing agents who are going to come. So you want to ask them that question, are you a listing agent? Oh yeah, I'm a listing agent, blah blah blah. Okay, well, Sean is a listing agent and a buyer's agent. He actually has buyers that are looking in this area. I can show you a list of people, phone numbers of people who are actually looking right now. That actually won me that contract. So you might want to ask, if they have that sort of thing, and be ready, okay? And because you want it, right? If you're an agent, you want to get that. So, that's something that's important. Don't be, assume the sale, but don't be egotistical and think that they won't talk to other people, because after I left, they did end up interviewing some other agents, but they called me to come back. All right. So let me get back on track here. Um, we're sitting down at the table after you got the tour. We're going to ask them, why are they moving? Now, I'm sure they've already told you that. Why would you ask them again? Well, because now you want to dive deep. So they could have said, several reasons. Like, you know what? We're ready to downsize. This house is too big. We're empty nesters, kind of thing, right? We're ready to downsize. We're ready to, we're ready to get our forever home. Whatever the case is, you can bring it up. You mentioned that you were ready to, if you already know, you don't want to sound silly, and you'll say, you already said that you were looking at getting your forever home. Why now? Why now? Like, why do you want to do this right now? So what you want to see, what you're looking for is to see, why does it matter to them, right? Why does it matter to them? So that's a really important question, because it's going to help them more so, and it's going to help you to help them, because um, where the motivation level is, if they're ready. And so then the next thing you're going to ask them is the timing, okay? The timing. So a good question I like to ask is, hey, if things were perfect, um, when would you like to have everything done? You know, um, the home is listed, we market it, and we get you a buyer, someone who wants to buy the home, who wants to own it, live here. What would be a great time for that? Like, would you like that to happen in the next 30 days? Would you be happy? Would you like that to happen in the next 60 days or 90 days? What is a good time frame? What would be ideal, perfect for you? You're going to want to know their timing, because sometimes they have to move quickly. Sometimes it's not as pressure, and sometimes you just need to know that, okay? Because the house is going to need to be prepped. You need to know how much time you have to get that home prepped to be marketed properly. That's really why we're asking. So again, the next thing you want to ask is the timing, okay? Now, The next thing is you're going to want to get permission to explain to them the paperwork. So, did you get the package that I sent you? Okay. All right. Is it okay if we discuss um, that? And then also, I asked you, to make a few questions if you had them. So if you want to grab those, you can write them down. And if you didn't have time to do that, that's okay. You can grab a pen now and takes, we can you can write your questions down as we go over it. Okay. And then you want to explain the paperwork because I mean it's normally a lot. It's normally like 4 pages or something at least. So you're not gonna want to just toss it out there. You're gonna want to explain it to them. What is agency? What is blah 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 blah. All the terms, right? The paperwork. So you want to go through all of that really well with them so that they have a good knowledge of it. And don't overdo this. If they're not asking questions, if they don't have questions about it, keep it moving. Like you don't have to just try to explain every possible scenario that could ever happen. Okay, that's just a waste of time. Don't waste their time. Don't waste your time. What do they say? Just the facts, man. Just the facts, right? So just give the facts, and that's something that I have to remember because if you've been around for a while, you've seen a lot and you understand how this works and why it's set that way. So we don't want to go over all of that too in depth. Um, One thing I will say, and that's something to remember, if you can in your paperwork, you want to send them information about a home warranty and help them to understand the home warranties and how it protects them more so from a liability standpoint. We're not attorneys. They would have to check with an attorney. However, just from um, you know what we can read from from what we've looked at as far as what people getting sued, there are more people who have gotten sued because there's no way to remedy when things break. If you have a home warranty, it kind of remedies if there's an unforeseen occurrence of something breaking. That's it. So we're not attorneys, we're not trying to give them legal advice, but we do want to protect them. So explain that to them. All right, that's something that's really important. And that's kind of it. Once you go through the paperwork, at the bottom of the paperwork, what's there? I mean, there should be pens laying around, right? They already have a pen, they're taking notes, you know. You can ask them. So, what do you want to do? Are you guys comfortable? Do you want to get it on the market now? You want, um, this will give me permission to start going to work right now. So if they're happy, then they can move forward. If they have some questions, they can ask you some questions. If they want to look over it, that's the cool thing is you've already given it to them to look over. So you're not doing that surprise on them, right? Because I like good surprises. I don't like bad surprises, right? Nobody does for the most part. So, so that's it. They'll normally either decide to think about it or if they want to interview their other people, they'll do that. And that's pretty much the process. Once that gets done, you know, then the next thing is, getting all the information about the property, photoed, and all of the prep work and everything else that goes into marketing the property. But that is the listing process. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I hope that this answers your question and demystifies the process a little bit. Now, everyone has their own process. This is our process. And this is the best process. Like, this is a process that has developed over 20 years of not just myself, but myself, uh, paying for training, um, lots of books and things like that. So, this works quite well. It doesn't confuse a person who wants to make a decision to uh, put their home and get it marketed. So I hope this has brought you some value. If you want more training, we have tons of training coming for you. If you're an agent or potential agent, again, just reach out to us. Let us know your questions. What do we have here? Uh, would you provide comps? Oh, that is a great question. Will we provide comps? So the answer is yes. Yes, we would provide comps. So comps is actually part of the paperwork. Okay. It's part of the paperwork. And I'm glad you said that because before I give them I'll give the agency disclosure because that just discloses, like that's kind of like a state mandate, but I would give the comps. Comps for everyone. Comps means the comparables, right? The comparable home sale prices. That's really important to most people. Okay. Now there's a way that I do it also. Before I make it a game because people like to have fun. So I have the comps. I do not send the comps in advance because there may be something new that pops up that day. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I don't send the comps in advance. They can change. They can go down or up, right? So I have a game. I ask them first of all, how much do you think your home is worth? I want to see where they're at. I want to see if they're way out here, way down here. Where are they? Okay. So I like to ask them. I'm like, there's no right or wrong answer. This is just a guess. Okay. I'm not gonna grade you on it, but see where they're at. If their house, if you've comped it out, it's worth 300,000, and they're saying it's worth 500,000. That might not be a good fit. They might not be reasonable. That might not be the customer for you. But if they are reasonable, or you can see what they want too, or they may not think it's worth as much as it is. I had some clients that told me, oh yeah, well, I, you know, at least 189, and their home was worth easy 250, and it was not updated. It was just a solid home in a great neighborhood. So see where they're at first, ask that question, and then the next thing that we're going to want to do is give it to them. Give it to them. Give them their own copy to keep. That's really important. Give them their own copy to keep. Okay. Now, when you hand it to them, silence is going to take over. If it's more than one people, they're going to be passing it around. They're going to be hogging it. Let me see that. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. And you're going to look at their faces. See if they're excited or disappointed. Because this is it's going to help you to see, hey, what's the next move? Is this a good fit? What do we have to say? So then the next thing is when it comes to prices, because, okay, these are the comps. Also with the comps, I will give them a range that I think their home is worth. A range. And the reason why we give them a range is because this is before you've walked through the house, right? After you've walked through the house, now you can compare the actual house to the actual comps. Okay, now you can see, hey, the comps may have had an older kitchen. This one has a nicer kitchen. It's worth more. Or older bathrooms, or windows, or whatever, right? So, Kelly, thanks for asking that question. That is a great question. That is part of the paperwork. Yes, this is what you determine with the comps, okay? Then you still are going to give them a very tight range in which you suggest that they list the home for. Why? Because you're the professional. You are the professional. The numbers that the homes actually sell for, you document. You put it into the MLS system. This is what appraisers use to determine value. They get those numbers from us as professionals. So you need to be confident enough to give them that range. That's part of your job. So you give them that range based on the comps and seeing your beautiful home, if it's beautiful. This is what I believe we should market your home for. Okay? They're normally going to say the highest number. Okay? And then you have to ask them, determine from their motivation of how you're going to move forward, okay, with it. If they want to sell it quickly, obviously price, right? You want to, from their motivation, it all goes back to the price as well as their needs. Why are they selling it? Oh, well, I have plenty of time. Okay. So that's going to go into all of that. And that's the reason why you did the consultation that way. It's not a presentation. The only thing you're really presenting is the comps. The rest of it is them presenting to you. Okay. So that was a great question. Any other questions on that before we jump out of here? This is really cool doing this live because, all right, looks like we covered it. Okay. All right. So that's it for me. Again, thanks for tuning in. If you want more training, reach out to me. You can send us a question directly, or you can reach out to us at prettyhm.com. All right, we got a lot of great stuff coming up. We actually have a presentation, a full presentation coming up, a workshop where we're going to basically open up and show you guys what we do in our business. The listing, how we just did that with sellers. We're going to show you what we do with buyers. We're going to give you everything. And this is coming up soon. So stay tuned. All right. We will see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.